We're here at Hershey Park. And while all of these people are here to catch major thrills, 11 huge roller coasters inside those walls in the house that Milton Hershey built, or here to celebrate their chocolate friends, or give love to the single thing that brought us all here in the first place. Delicious milk chocolate kisses. Stealing a kiss. Or maybe people came here today to get a look inside the walls at the Hershey Chocolate Factory. At the very least, they can enjoy a nice whiff of that nice chocolatey air. And while all of those may be perfectly good reasons why you'd want to come to Hershey Park, that's why other people are coming here. The reason I'm here today is for that. Hershey Park Arena, otherwise known as Hershey Arena until it got rebranded. Now, why do I care about the Hershey Park Arena? I mean, sure, that looks pretty good over there. I mean, look at that. Those people are insane. And as insane as that ride is, something just as insane happened inside the walls of this great stadium that the locals like to call the Old Barn. And it happened way back in 1962 in March. It was the great Wilt Chamberlain, Wilt the Stilt, inside of these walls set a record with a nice round number to it. And I know what you're thinking. It's not 10,000, okay? It's a different round number. The great Wilt Chamberlain, while playing for the Philadelphia Warriors, put up 100 points against the New York Knicks. Chamberlain would average over 50 points a game that season. Holy cow. Interestingly enough, Wilt Chamberlain did not win the MVP award in 1962. Didn't win the MVP. That honor went to Bill Russell. Bill Russell was given the MVP award, and it was given to him by his peers. The other players in the NBA decided who the MVP was, and they decided on Bill Russell over Wilt Chamberlain, even though he scored 100 points and averaged over 50 points a game. So why? Well, Russell was a lot better teammate, and he won championships. Plus, you know, Wilt's teammates didn't really like him, and nobody else really did either. So you don't really vote for the dude you don't really like, right? Whatever the case, the most impressive performance in an individual game in the history of basketball, and probably the most impressive individual performance of any sport, happened right here in Hershey, PA. So I came by, I was interested in seeing what they had inside these walls. So inside the lobby here, they've got the iconic picture, which Chamberlain took that night. And here's his box score. .36 for 63. Holy cow. He made 28 free throws out of 32 attempts, had 25 rebounds, 2 assists, and he scored 100 points. And the part that no one ever remembers is poor Daryl Imhoff. He was charged with defending Wilt Chamberlain that night, and is the person who scored 7 points, had 6 personal fouls he fouled out, he had 6 rebounds, and he allowed the man he was guarding to score 100 points. This is so cool. So they got the hockey rink set up right now. The whole place to myself, and this is an incredible experience. It's just like quiet, but it's clear to me as I walk in here. You know, I've thought about the 100-point game so many times. The only person who's come close to it was Kobe Bryant when he scored 81 against the Raptors. but he still was 19 points short. I mean, even 100 points. It's crazy. They still got the old original wood chairs for the bleachers here. They've probably had a paint job or two. Let's talk about why he might have been able to score 100 points on that particular night. As you can see, I came into this arena and have just been able to walk around and do what I want in here. It's unlocked and it's just open for people to come experience. That's super cool. But it also might be one of the reasons why Chamberlain was able to score 100 points in a game. But how, you ask? You see, the idea is that as they set up a hockey arena, as they had different shows come through town, they would take the hoops and they would put them underneath, down into the locker room areas, which are still being used. The same ones, they haven't been upgraded, so that'd be cool to play here and have it. But people can roam and come back into hallways and kind of go wherever they want in this place. And by doing so, they could go underneath and find where the basketball hoops were. I'm Hoff. You remember the guy that guarded Chamberlain, gave up 100 points, fouled him 6 times? I would have done that too. No hate, we're all good. He claims that one of the reasons that Wilt Chamberlain was able to score 100 points was because the rims that night were very, very well broken in. But because the rims were all broken in, you get a guy that's a Hall of Famer, all-time, top 10 sort of player, all-time, top 5 by some people's standard, throwing the basketball at a hoop that was all worked in, nice and soft. In fact, Imhoff said that they were as soft as butter. It's very cool. This old building is very cool. So as I walk around back here by the concessions, you can just see, again, this is my way of showing that people can kind of walk around this building even now in 2018 and kind of do what they want, unsupervised. It's actually really cool. But it also might be one of the big reasons why he was able to score 100 points. One of my absolute favorite parts of the Wilt Chamberlain 100-point game mythology is what happened to the basketball from that game. There's actually been some controversy over what happened to the ball that Wilt Chamberlain scored 100 points with. You see, my favorite theory is the one that I think most people accept as what happened to the actual basketball, and so let's just go with that one. I believe the hoop was on this end of the floor, and following the end of the game, a young man from Hershey, Pennsylvania ran onto the floor. A little kid ran down these stairs, right out onto that floor. He nabbed the ball right off the court and then just absolutely booked it. His claim is he took the ball and he flew right up the corner stairs just there and booked it right out the exit. And then he owned a massive piece of history. One of the things about Wilt Chamberlain's career that I think is really interesting is the fact that he was absolutely obsessed with numbers. He had this season where he wanted to lead the league in assists, so rather than scoring the way that he normally did, he spent his time trying to pass the ball, get his teammates going so he could lead this league in assists. It became more important to Chamberlain that year than actually, winning. That's why when the game was over, all the people in the press thought that Wilt definitely knew what he was doing and how many points he was scoring, that he definitely knew he was trying to get to 100. Wilt Chamberlain claims that that's not what was going on. He had a different record in mind. No, Wilt, he thought that he wasn't scoring 100 points that night. The record that he thought he was breaking was the free throw record. The most free throws in a game, and he thought he was going to maybe get there because he hit 9 in a row. He ended up having 28, which is a lot of free throws. I don't even know if that's a record or not. What I do know is he set a record for the most field goals attempted and made in a single basketball game, in addition to the 100 points that he scored. I love all the hockey touches out here in the lobby. Look at that molding. It's got the ice skate. Look at that. It's cool. Now, I never say never, but it's hard for me to believe. Just as it was hard for the play-by-play announcer who announced after Wilt made the 100-point game that he couldn't imagine anybody ever doing it again. And at a place where a lot of people have experiences that are absolutely insane on those rides, maybe nothing more insane has happened than Wilt Chamberlain suddenly scoring 100 points in front of a little crowd here in Hershey, Pennsylvania. Oh, And that leads me to the last question that you may wonder. If he played for the Philadelphia Warriors, why on earth did he break the record at Hersheypark Arena in a regular season game against the New York Knicks? The NBA was still growing as a basketball league, and basketball itself was growing as a sport. And so in order to grow the fan base, the Philadelphia Warriors used to play several games all across the country. They would play some of them in Chicago. They had a few of them all over the region here, and they were just trying to build more of a fan base. And so they happened to have this game in Hershey, and boom, Wilt Chamberlain went off. So it's literally here, right here at Hersheypark, right next to all of the rides and attractions. And I wonder how many people have no idea that a great piece of sports history is literally feet away from one of the most prolific roller coaster sites in this country. There you have it. I hope you've enjoyed the little tour of Hersheypark Arena that I got by just opening a door and walking in and seeing if I could see what I could see there. And shout out to Wilt Chamberlain, 100 points. It's quite a feat. I don't know that it'll ever be matched. But that'll do it for this edition of the vlog. Hey, if you enjoyed going around with me today as we checked out this piece of sports history, then go ahead and click subscribe down below. I'd appreciate that so much. And tell your friends about it. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you next time. Bye. I guess you could say this place is pretty sweet. Hey, I got a little joke for this cool cat. Hey, Jolly Rancher guy. What's an off-brand Jolly Rancher? A happy farmer. Woo! When you come to Hersheypark, you can Twizzler your experience up. There's no pun there. There's no pun.